Hare Krishna, continuing to read from Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 9, the most confidential knowledge, text 22. Ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana pariyupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yoga shemam vahami aham. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. But those who always worship me with exclusive devotion, meditating on my transcendental form. To them, I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. So Krishna is telling to Arjuna that the devotees who are constantly worshipping him with devotion, the devotee always has devotion. So he has devotion to the Lord and he's meditating on the Lord. So Krishna, he's saying not some light or some concept or some energy. No, he's saying you're worshipping me, Krishna himself. He's being very specific. And he's saying my transcendental form. So Krishna has a form. It's not that God has no form. God has a form. And it is transcendental. It's not material. And what does Krishna do for these uh, devotees who are always worshipping Krishna with devotion? He carries what they lack and preserve what they have. So a devotee, um, they might have some material desires or something there. So to give them more and more devotion, Krishna keeps giving more and more. And he preserves whatever progress a devotee has made, that's never lost. Krishna makes sure it's there. Whatever faith, whatever devotion, whatever the devotee has acquired, Krishna preserves it. One who is unable to live for a moment without Krishna consciousness cannot but think of Krishna 24 hours a day, being engaged in devotional service by hearing, chanting, remembering, offering prayers, worshipping, serving the lotus feet of the Lord, rendering other services, cultivating friendship, and surrendering fully to the Lord. So, these are the 9 processes of devotional service. Nava Anga Bhakti. What does a pure devotee do? A pure devotee, he cannot live without Krishna, even for a moment. He is always Krishna conscious. He's always thinking of Krishna. How can I serve Krishna? How can I please Krishna? What can I do to please Krishna? Because he has so much devotion in his heart. So, what is this? Uh, what is he doing? He's hearing, chanting. So he could be doing either one or some or all. Hearing, Shravanam. Devotional service begins by hearing. Chanting the glories of the Lord, chanting the holy name of the Lord. Hearing, what is he hearing? He is hearing the pastimes of the Lord, the glories of the Lord. From Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, remembering Krishna. He's remembering Krishna, Krishna's qualities, pastimes, Krishna's paraphernalia, then offering prayers to Krishna, worshipping Krishna, worshipping the deity of Krishna, serving the lotus feet of the Lord. And serving the lotus feet of the Lord is like dasyam, the Pada Sevana, like how Lakshmi Ji does. She's always serving the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. Rendering other services means like a servant, like Hanumanji is doing for Lord Ramachandra, always serving Lord Ram, being a servant of the Lord, cultivating friendship. That's also devotional service, like how Arjuna has a deep friendship with Krishna. So this is Sakyan. And then surrendering fully to the Lord, Atma Nivedana. Such activities are all auspicious and full of spiritual potencies, which make the devotee perfect in self realization. so that his only desire is to achieve the association of the Supreme Personality of God. So these activities, hearing, chanting, remembering, these are spiritual activities. They are not material because we are hearing about Krishna, we are chanting Krishna's names. So all these are spiritual activities. And then what does it what happens? Gradually, the love of Krishna which is there in our heart is revived. And then because right now we may have so many different desires, but what happens when the love is revived? The only thing we want is to be with Krishna, to have personal association of Krishna. Such a devotee undoubtedly approaches the Lord without difficulty. This is called yoga. So yoga means what? Linking with the Supreme. Linking with the Supreme means yoga. And this is yoga when we want to associate with God. We want to be with God. We want to serve Him. We love Him. We have devotion in our heart for Him. By the mercy of the Lord, such a devotee never comes back to this material condition of life. So then, when the devotee has so much devotion, what does Krishna make sure? Krishna makes sure that this devotee comes back home, back to Godhead, because the devotee has no desire to be in the material world anymore. And Krishna fulfills all our desires. He fulfills all desires. We have a desire to go back to the spiritual world, He brings us to the spiritual world. We have a desire to stay in the material world, He lets us stay in the material world. Shema refers to the merciful protection of the Lord. So Krishna protects the devotee. Krishna gives mercy to the devotee. Always. Krishna is very merciful. Shema, very merciful. The Lord helps the devotee to achieve Krishna consciousness by yoga. And when he becomes fully Krishna conscious, the Lord protects him from falling down to a miserable conditioned life. So Krishna here, he's promising that you become my devotee, you'll never come back to the material world again. You will never have these material desires again. You don't need to be again birth, death, old age, and disease. You can be always in the spiritual world. Here Krishna is saying, Yoga Shema, what is that? He's saying, Yoga Shemam Vahami Aham. I carry what they lack, and I preserve what they have. Preserving. So Krishna preserves. Once we become a devotee of Krishna, it's eternally we stay in the spiritual world. We don't need to come to the material world again. Because this is Krishna's promise. He's saying, I preserve. I help the devotee never again to come to the material world. I protect the devotee always to be in the spiritual world. No more coming to the material world to again have this miserable life of birth, death, old age, and disease. So we can see by engaging in devotional service, which begins by hearing, chanting, remembering, we can get the highest goal, highest achievement of spiritual realization. We can be in the spiritual world. So we need to continue to hear about Krishna, to chant his names. And this month is very auspicious, Kartik month. Whatever spiritual activity we do, it's multiplied thousands of times. We get the benefit thousands of times. So we can take advantage of this month and try to chant more, hear more, if it's possible, Each has to see their own commitments, but yeah. So at least we continue to hear and chant, so we can revive this love of Krishna that we have in our heart and go back home, back to Godhead. And Krishna promises that He preserves. He promises that we will never come to the material world again. Is that okay?
Yeah.
So Thank you so much for listening and joining in. Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.